Hey, Nick Tuminello here in Massive Performance Gym in Sweden, talking about an exercise I call the hybrid deadlift. Now, you've probably seen this before. A lot of people default to deadlifting like this anyway, but it's my favorite way to have general fitness enthusiasts, physique type trainers, exercise enthusiasts, general fitness clients, fat loss clients. It's a non-powerlifting oriented deadlift because I don't train powerlifters. It's still just an exercise to me. So let me show you how it's done, and then I'll talk about some of the details and why we call it a hybrid deadlift. So a lot of people default this way. It's a little wider stance, wrists directly into the shoulders. Your hips are not really high, but they're not really low either. They're kind of in the middle, and then you just pick it up. So just a couple reps. Okay, one quick disclaimer before I get into details. Powerlifting is super hot right now, and it's not only powerlifters that can talk about deadlifts. Powerlifters talk to their audience, which are other powerlifters. Powerlifters are not my audience. I'm not talking about this exercise to train for a deadlift competition. I'm talking about it as just a way to put force across joints as just one exercise option, one deadlift variation. So let's not get too territorial. I'm a trainer. I can talk about exercises. A lot of times people hassle people like me because I don't have big deadlift numbers that I can't talk about deadlift. That's bullshit. I can talk about biomechanics, and that's what we're talking about here. So with that out of the way, here's why I call this a hybrid deadlift. It's hybrid because it's in between an RDL, which is close stance and really low torso position, and a sumo, which is wide stance and really high torso position. It's dead in the middle. The stance is not as wide as a sumo, but not as narrow as an RDL. And the torso position is also in the middle. It's not as leaned over as an RDL, and it's not as upright as a sumo. It's dead in between. Now again, good mechanics, you keep the bar fairly close to you. That reduces the lever arm, makes it a little safer on your back, and you keep your wrists under your shoulders. You don't bring your hands like this because that allows the bar to wobble. So I'm right in here. Again, like I said, a lot of people default to deadlifting like this anyway. Why? It's because it really fits well with kind of how we're built, right? You don't have to have this great hip mobility to be able to do it. A lot of people don't have. You don't have to have this great flexibility to get down there really low. And it allows you to kind of bring in the best of both worlds. It kind of feels a little bit more natural. Kind of look like how a shortstop stands in baseball. So I just put a name to it. A lot of people say, well, that's why I deadlift anyway. Great, but it's not necessarily a formalized form. You can't fit it in RDL, you can't fit it in sumo, you can't fit it in regular deadlift. So that's why I applied a name to it and I actually teach it that way. And this is my default way that I start teaching people to utilize deadlifts, because a lot of people aren't training to be powerlifters. They're here for exercise, and this seems to fit really well. Keeps the bar close, and they can seem to do it learn it pretty quickly, and then you just fit the weights to the reps that you're doing, and off you go. So that's the hybrid deadlift.